there are very important because you don't want to lose the amount transition to sitting up in the open.
Back up.
Sorry. So how do we go from being flat on top of him, controlling the mount, to get to this position? And how do we secure the mount sitting up on him? Because this is harder, for you to secure the mount sitting on top of your opponent. And now how do I attack without losing the mount? Okay, that's the biggest challenge. Finishing someone in the mount is how do I finish my attacks without losing the mount. That's why it's so difficult, and very so few people they have a strong mount, because they cannot maintain the mount. As they try to finish, they get bridged. So there's few ways for us to get there. Sometimes it can be just as simple as sitting yourself up, but if you're fighting against a experienced opponent, it's much harder. So things that you can look for from here. So before, when I start sitting up, I want to bring my legs in first. See? And I really want to push myself in. The one thing that before we sit ourselves up, what I like to do is going flat. Is first, when I pull my legs up, I keep both legs tight on him. See, my legs are both of them. The other one will be the same. So now I'm keeping my legs tight. So before I sit up, see, my knees are holding him tight. Because now I'm barely sitting on him. My next goal here, I want to pull my legs as high as I can. I'm going to aim to bring the sole of my feet will be both on his hips. I want the sole of my feet pressing against his body. It's very important. So as I come up, see, I want to press. I put my heels on top of his hips. Because if he tries to push me down, I can resist a lot more. And the moment that I let the head go, he already knows this is not comfortable for him. So he wants to slide his body up. He needs to push my legs. See? Now he kept myself down. Now I cannot. If I sit up here, he'll be pushing my leg. When I sit, my leg has to stay under his arm. See, that's very important. So I don't want to come up in a low mount, because this comes in and now he's pushing. You want to come up to a high mount. So he's here, remember, his hand has to be defending his neck, because the Ezekiel's right there. My leg goes up. See, I'm completely forward. My head is touching the floor. So now, look, I bring my other leg up. I'm even higher. See, his head is in the middle of my chest, in my stomach. Now both hands on the floor. Because if he try to slide his body up, see, just because my sole is on top of his hips, he cannot. Now I'm going to place my sole on the floor, on the side of his body. Now when he's light up, right, he goes. So I have to make sure I hold myself in that position. See, I place my heels on top of his hips. See, he's right above his thigh. So now when I put my hands on the floor and he tries to slide he can't. See, his own legs are blocking. Then, from there, I sit up. See that I still brought my legs up, and then I sat. Here is the same principle. Being in a high mount is not comfortable for who's underneath. There's a lot of pressure on his lungs. He feels very threatened, very difficult to escape. He wants to improve his position. So he wants to put his arms on top of my leg and slide again. He wants me lower on his body. He doesn't want me sitting in his chest. See, this is my control is too strong here. His arms are getting pain. That space is a much, much better position to attack and to secure the mount. Here I'm safe. He cannot escape. he wants me on this position. So he wants to push, but he needs to push against my leg. So the moment that I get to the high mount, the first thing that I do when I come up is grab his behind his elbow. The first thing my hand goes in here, and I sit back as much as I can. See, the further back I go, the better for me. Because if you try to bridge, dá uma barrigada aí. Dá uma barrigada forte. It's hard. But bridge hard. See? Now if I'm here, no bridge. See the difference? If I'm here, he bridges, he will throw me on the floor. If I'm there and he bridges, he's going to push me here. There's a big difference. If I stay past 90 degrees and he bridges, look. And he's going to slide himself up. If I lean back, it's very hard. See, the further back I go, see, I'm barely moving. And his hips all the way up. I'm going to move my head forward. Now he bridges. I fly. See? So now, the second step is to preventing him open his elbow. Because if he opens the elbow, he has the power to slide himself up. So I'm going to hold his elbows. I'm going to pull them to me. I'm not using a lot of power here. I'm just keeping, look, my arms right behind, and I'm pulling. So if you try to open his elbows, it's hard, and I don't need to use a lot of power for that. And then I can start looking to attack.